I got 1,900.
1,900 on the button. All right, I'm going to convene this meeting of the Gardner Planning Board for March 2022. First items of business are the approval of minutes from our meeting in December, since we didn't meet in January and February. The public meeting with T. Slocum Incorporated and our regular meeting. Entertain a motion?
Make a motion. I'll second it then.
All right, motion made and seconded to approve our minutes. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. New business, 538 Clark Street decommissioning bond.
Chairman, I just wanted to bring this to the board's attention. We received a request from the current owner of the 538 Clark Street solar array, Nexamp. They would like to issue a bond for the decommissioning of that project rather than a cash surety. Typically in the past, we've recommended a cash surety. However, in our zoning code, it does identify a bond as being adequate surety. Also, the condition that we placed on the site plan approval does state that that is an option. It does actually says it in the final approval pursuant to section of the zoning code, the developer shall provide a city a performance bond in the form and amount acceptable to the city engineer. So they did send along the bond, and it stated that if they don't receive any correspondence within 30 days, it'll become official. I did respond to them. You do have a letter in your packet where I recommend some changes. Instead of being notified within 30 days, I recommend 90 under provision 1. Provision 8, I'm not going to read it all, but it's pretty self-explanatory. And then the provisions 8 and 9 push out to 10 and 11. Actually, 9 pushes out to 10, and then it pushes out to 10. Provision 11, I'm just requesting that they provide a 30-day notice of termination if they were to terminate the bond at any point. And the last, I think that is the last recommendation.
Okay, well, decommissioning bond in lieu of cash surety isn't setting precedent, so I don't have an issue with that, but it'd be nice if they would respond to your
Yeah, so this went out to them
letter before we take any action.
early January, and I have not heard back from them. They did receive it. I did send it certified mail, so they did receive it, and so I'm waiting to hear back from them.
Yeah, especially since you're asking for changes to the bond.
Yeah, so once we receive, hopefully we'll receive a correspondence back from them with hopefully an edited bond to your satisfaction, and we can bring it back to the board and you can vote on it, and we'll accept the bond and then reissue their cash surety back to them.
Yeah, I don't have any issue with that approach.
If you-
That's
What do
what
you
I would
guys
go
think?
on with. Wait till they respond,
Yeah,
and then we'll have another meeting and vote on it then.
Yeah.
yeah, so we'll
You want that as a motion?
yeah, we should vote on that.
I don't think so, Mr. Chair. I don't think, not this time.
No?
No, I don't think so. I'm just bringing it to your attention now, and then at a later date, when you decide to do something with it, once we get the new bond, the revised bond, then you guys can vote on it, and then you can vote to release the cash surety and accept the bond.
All right, are we good with that just being an administrative action right now?
Yeah.
And we'll vote later when he
Yeah.
gets his answers.
I'll go along with it.
I agree. All good? All right, excellent. Next up, 2.2, open space plan, update.
So the city's appropriated necessary funds to hire a consultant to update our open space plan. It was updated in 2015. It's a 7-year plan, so it'll be up in August of this year. So we should update it. It's required for certain open space grants and the recreation grants that we do actually apply for, so. I need a volunteer from the planning board to participate, and
I would volunteer for it. It's something that we talked of and be interested in doing something like that.
You're certainly welcome to.
basically we have an existing plan. We really just need to go through and update it. The state changes the parameters of the plan, the requirements over time. We just want to make sure it's consistent with the state guidelines. And obviously there are certain projects that we've actually completed in the old plan, and we'll negate those and we'll identify new projects and new priorities for the city. There'll be some public hearings involved with the process and to get input from the residents, and hopefully, it's probably going to be a good 6 to 8 month process anyways. And
Who's included in the committee?
well, we haven't solidified everything yet, but I believe Norman Beauregard from the Conservation Commission, John O'Dickey from the Municipal Grounds Commission,
Is there a minimum?
myself, no, not really. Myself, Kate Burton, the Conservation Planning Agent, is going to be spearheading the project out of my department.
The GIS department is helping out with
GIS,
mapping and
yeah,
figures for
yeah.
the final report and working with a consultant.
We may ask the new engineer, Rob, if he's
I bet he'd love to be part of it.
interested, yeah. And actually, I was thinking about possibly reaching out to Bob Hankinson as a resident, interested resident, if he's,
Yeah,
can never have enough engineers.
Yeah, you would be an
that's what they
ideal
say.
candidate. All right, then,
We'll see. Well,
Would that be something the MRPC would do?
as far as the consulting part of it,
Yeah,
um,
because they are doing a couple for other towns.
yeah, I suppose, I'm not sure what the capacity is internally, Bob, whether they would actually sub that work out to another consultant, or whether they do it in-house, I don't know.
I think they would do it enough,
But, well, we can certainly reach out to them.
because they're looking for work as well.
Yeah, but we probably go out and ask a number of different consultants for, actually, we've already identified 3
Okay,
that we're gonna go out and ask for proposals. And I'll reach out to Glenn and see if they'd be interested.
so it might even be cheaper, I don't know.
Get what you pay for.
Okay, well, Mr. Steve Cormier will be the planning board representative for the open space plan update project.
There we go.
Thanks, Steve.
Next, 2.3 subdivision rules and regulations update. There they are.
So you can see the date on that, it's 2005. Yeah, that's the last time they were updated. So again, the city's appropriated the funds to move forward with this project. And I do have a proposal from a consulting firm that has done work in our city in the past. And BSC Group. They did our zoning code update, and they also did our 2 urban renewal plans. Been very satisfied with their work. So based on their proposal and the amount that the city council has appropriated, probably just gonna go with that firm.
And this has to be voted by the city council also before it's
It's already been approved.
been approved.
Oh, you mean the planets, the subdivision
Yes.
rules and regs itself?
Yes, when you have this, when you have this firm, I'm not too sure, I'm just asking you.
Possibly, I'm not sure.
Okay.
Paul, it's a good question. I don't know. I know it should be endorsed by the planning board. Whether it goes to council afterwards, Quite possibly, like the zoning code did,
Yeah.
It makes sense that it would.
yeah. But that's something our consultant will handle, and, so again, I'd be looking for a planning board member to possibly volunteer on that group too.
I'll volunteer for that one unless anyone else has a burning desire to participate.
You know, burning desire, but on help.
Yeah, I don't, it's, that group's probably predominantly gonna be staff, along with the consultant, so.
Consultant and your staff?
Yeah, pretty much, and again, possibly city engineer, because there are requirements in there that they need to abide by as far as construction of roadways to city spec, and, you know, there's certain restrictions in it for the length of cul-de-sacs.
Yeah, there's a number of
Design,
stormwater standards that'll have to match this document
Yeah.
along with our regular regulations as well.
Yeah, and a lot of that's been updated since they
Yeah.
were last, since it was last written, so all those need to be updated within the,
Certainly due for a revision.
yeah.
Yeah, well, fair enough. I'll be happy to participate in that as a planning board representative.
Okay, great,
Volunteer.
excellent.
Old business, any old business from your desk, Mr. Beauregard?
Nope, nope, that's on the floor, okay, no, nothing on what.
Okay, move on to article from the Beacon Liability to Assets Program.
Yeah, I just wanted to share that with the board. Nothing to do with the picture, it's not. Just an update, the New View Communities, which is the regional community development corp, a few years ago now established New View Communities liabilities to assets program, and we used state funding to develop a liabilities to assets 121B, 121A corp, where we could go in and, I'm actually on the board, acquire properties that are vacant and rehab them, get them back on the tax rolls. These are the highest, level of unrehabable properties. Typically, they're properties that contractors won't touch. So at the end of the day, you're usually in the red after you're done. And then they're sold to income eligible families. And
So this is just rehab, not demolition.
correct, yeah. I mean, it's a good question, and, you would think that maybe some of the properties that we do tackle probably could be on the demolition list, but we have a architect go through very thoroughly and assess whether it would be worthwhile or not, and so the majority of them that we look at and that we get, we end up rehabbing. They've rehabbed, I think, 4 or 5 to date, and this one is in reference to 58 Osgood, I believe.
Okay.
And that's the only one that we've gotten Gardner so far. It's a long process, it's tedious, and it's really hard because we're competing against contractors. So a lot of the properties that we identify in the plan, and plan was approved like 3 years ago, have already been purchased and rehabbed and put back into the market by the normal market means. So this one we ended up getting, it was a really bad title issue. Nobody was going to end up touching it because of that, and so we ended up taking this one by eminent domain. And it's in the process of being rehabbed as we speak.
Good.
Yeah, it's going to be a nice property once it's done.
It's an excellent program. It's good to see.
Didn't we do
see
something like this
some,
3-4 years ago?
positive publicity.
It's probably the same program, Bob.
There were 13 or 14 programs identified?
Properties?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I thought.
It's taken a long time to get this thing up and running.
Wow,
you
so
know,
this is the same program?
We had to, develop all the guidelines for it. We had to get all the state approvals for all those guidelines, and they've changed a lot of them. It's,
Government progress takes time.
it sure does.
No, it's good to see it up and running. It's a
yeah.
very positive development.
Yeah.
Next meeting, Tuesday, April 12th at 7 PM. Sound good?
Mr. Chairman, I want to be in that meeting.
Okay.
So if there's something, Mr. Beauregard has something important that he needs to bring, either we can switch it or we can leave that as is if there's nothing important in that meeting at that time. So it's up to you. It's up to our members here.
Well, we can leave it as is for now, I think.
Leave it as is for now, and then if we do get anything that comes forward to the board, I can shoot an email out, and you can always change it.
You know,
Like
shift.
a week after.
Push it out a week or-
That way there'll be plenty of notice maybe.
Yeah,
That's fine.
At this point, we don't have anything.
Yeah.
I am expecting something, but doesn't mean we'll get it.
Well, I do have one question also, Mr. Chairman, is I've had a few residents call on that open space residential development off Clark Street, and they'd like to know what is going on with that project. Is it going, I know the ZBA had a meeting last month, then they had a decision meeting like a few weeks later, and I tried to look that up and I couldn't make heads or tails of what their decision was on that.
So
That was only for an access road, that's all it was.
That's correct, on that
And
Brookside.
nothing else to do with the rest of the property.
That's correct, and I'm not too sure what happened on that either. I'm not.
And they, as far as I know, it was a favorable decision.
Was it? Okay.
No, it was kind of a half and half thing. He can, his power guy can fill it in better than I can.
So they were in front of the ZBA to get 2 use variances for access over the general residential 3 parcels that they own that enter into the larger site, which is, I believe, single-family residential, where residential, open space residential is allowed. It's not allowed in general residential 3, so they needed to get a use variance over those general residential 3 lots in order to access the larger lot for the development. The ZBA approved one access on,
Brookside.
no,
Clark.
no, they,
Century.
Century Way,
Century.
thank you, Chris.
One of those.
And they denied the one on, with a vote to 2 to 1, it needs to be a 3-0 vote. They denied the one on Clark Street. And so from what I understand, the developer has appealed that second decision.
And there were some rebuttals on the Clark Street access,
Yeah.
some severe rebuttals.
So it was 3-0 on the Century Way vote and 2 to 1 on Clark Street vote, but since it wasn't unanimous, it was denied on the Clark Street one. So they have a right to appeal the decision, and then I believe it gets appealed to the, it's not land court, Superior Court, yeah, thank you, in Worcester.
So
I'm not
it's-
sure.
So
I'm not-
as we stand, it's just status quo, that nothing
Yeah.
has changed, nothing is going forward or back.
Correct, yeah.
Until that's resolved.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Well said. All right, motion made.
Second.
Second. Very good. Motion made and seconded to adjourn. Any
Sorry to
discussion?
wake you up, Steve.
All those in favor, by voice.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. We are adjourned. Thank you very much. We'll see you in April.
You want